Did you know the highest rated RPG of all time isn't The Witcher or Skyrim? It's actually an isometric RPG made by a small indie team. These games don't chase flashy graphics, but they consistently deliver some of the deepest, smartest, and most unforgettable experiences in gaming. This list will show you why the genre is better than ever. And hey, if this vibe hits, maybe sub.
The area. Now that I'm here as well. I understand the scene is out back, right? It also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are...
Disco Elysium. Picture this. You wake up in a trashed hotel room, pants missing, dignity gone, and your only weapon against the void is a hangover that could kill a horse. Welcome to Disco Elysium, an isometric RPG from ZARUM that basically asks, hey, what if every bad decision you've ever made became a skill tree? You're a detective with a murder to solve, but the real mystery is whether you can keep your brain from self-destructing. The world of Revachol drips with political rot, washed out neon, and people who either hate you, want something from you, or both. Conversations are the combat system here, and your inner voices, logic, empathy, drama, even electrochemistry are constantly heckling you, trying to steer your fate. It's messy, brilliant, and wildly human. Disco Elysium doesn't just tell a story, it hijacks your brain and dares you to laugh at your own collapse.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41...
Path of Exile. Imagine Diablo went broke, lived in its mom's basement, and spent 10 years obsessively scribbling character builds on graph paper. That's Path of Exile, grinding gear games' free-to-play monster of an isometric ARPG. You're an exile dumped onto Rayclast, a continent that makes Mordor look like a vacation brochure, and the only way forward is carving your name into piles of corpses. The world is grim, bloody, and unapologetically hostile, but the real terror is that passive skill tree. A sprawling constellation of what-ifs that could devour your weekend before you've even killed your first crab. Combat is crunchy, brutal, and fast, with spells and abilities chaining into chaos that feels like orchestrating a fireworks display in hell. And just when you think you've mastered it, a new seasonal league drops, and suddenly the game has reinvented itself again. Path of Exile doesn't play fair, it plays forever. Underrail. Step into Underrail and kiss daylight goodbye. You're not the hero here, you're just another unlucky soul in a crumbling metro system where survival feels like a coin toss. And the coin is rigged. Made by Stygian Software, this isometric RPG is basically Fallout's weird, antisocial cousin who lives in the basement and tinkers with landmines for fun. The world? A labyrinth of tunnels, rusted rails, and factions that treat you like disposable currency. Mutants stalk the shadows, cults whisper in the dark, and every locked door feels like it's guarding your next bad decision. Combat is turn-based and absolutely merciless. Builds matter. If you don't plan, the game will chew you up, spit you out, and laugh while doing it. What makes it brilliant is how much freedom you get. Stealthing past patrols, frying brains with psi powers, or rigging a hallway with enough traps to make Kevin McAllister proud. Brutal, but unforgettable. Divinity Original Sin 2. If games were D&D sessions, Divinity Original Sin 2 is that one campaign where the Dungeon Master shows up with too much coffee, too much imagination, and absolutely zero chill. Built by Larian Studios, this isometric RPG doesn't just hand you a world, it hands you the rulebook, a box of fireworks, and says, try not to blow up the tavern. Spoiler, you will. The world of Rivellon is alive with detail. From sinister swamps to towns full of people who actually feel like they have jobs to do. The story, a tangled mess of gods, betrayal, and your ragtag group of misfits trying to rise to godhood without stabbing each other in the back first. Combat is tactical brilliance. Every barrel, puddle, and cliff edge can be turned into your personal murder playground. Teleport an enemy into fire? Check. Electrify the blood on the ground? Oh, absolutely. Original Sin 2 isn't just a game, it's a sandbox of chaos.
Perform a proper introduction. I am Fernach of Ferd, a treasure finder extraordinaire at your service.
The Temple of Elemental Evil. Some RPGs hand you destiny. The Temple of Elemental Evil hands you a map, a suspicious cult, and says, good luck not dying in the basement. Developed by Troika Games, this classic D&D isometric RPG doesn't bother sugarcoating anything. You're knee-deep in a corrupted land where rumors of vanishing villagers spiral into something much, much darker. The vibe? Old school menace. Every corridor drips with dread, every stranger could be compromised, and the cult at the center of it all feels less like cartoon villains and more like a creeping infection spreading under your skin. Combat runs on turn-based tactical precision, meaning positioning and spell choice can decide if you're a legendary adventurer or just another skeleton in the dungeon. It's crunchy, it's punishing, but also ridiculously rewarding when you finally break through. Temple of Elemental Evil isn't about being a hero. It's about surviving the crawl and unraveling evil one brutal fight at a time.
As you command.
Sword, strike them down!
Baldur's Gate 3. Most RPGs give you choices like, do you want to save the kitten or not save the kitten? Baldur's Gate 3 asks, what if the kitten is secretly a god, the villain is your best friend, and also you're probably on fire right now? Larian Studios took everything they learned from Divinity Original Sin 2 and went full galaxy brain, delivering an isometric RPG that feels like a living, breathing D&D campaign. The Forgotten Realms have never looked this good. Taverns bustle, dungeons crawl, and every side quest feels like it could derail your entire life. Characters? Wildly memorable. Whether it's Asterion trying to snack on you at 3 a.m. or Shadowheart side-eyeing every dumb decision you make. Combat is turn-based chaos. Shove enemies off cliffs, set entire rooms ablaze, or accidentally kill the only NPC who knew the plot twist. Replay value is off the charts. Honestly, BG3 isn't just a game. It's an addiction disguised as storytelling.
More may follow! Open the gate!
Will do.
Tyranny. Most RPGs start with you trying to stop the Dark Lord. Tyranny starts after the Dark Lord already won, and you work for them. Yeah, welcome to Kairos' empire, where freedom's a rumor and you're the Fatebinder. Basically a magical lawyer with the authority to rewrite the fine print of morality. Developed by Obsidian, this isometric RPG is cold, sharp, and mean in the best way possible. The world oozes tension. Cities quake under edicts. Magical laws that literally kill people if they're broken. And the characters? They're not noble heroes. They're broken, ambitious, and often terrifying. You don't save the world here. You decide how hard it's gonna burn. Gameplay sticks close to Pillars of Eternity with tactical real-time combat and an insane spellcrafting system that lets you Frankenstein your own magic. Every decision feels like pulling a thread in a web that might snap around your throat. It's power fantasy, sure, but the kind that makes you question having power at all.
I'm injured.
You got it.
Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. If you've ever wanted to roleplay as a space capitalist psychopath with a holy chainsword, Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is your golden ticket. Developed by Owlcat Games, it's an isometric RPG that captures the two sacred truths of the 40k universe. It's grim and it's dark. Everything else is just bonus carnage. You're the rogue trader, captain of your own void ship, with the freedom to make deals, burn planets, and decide whether to hand out salvation or orbital bombardments depending on your mood that day. The world, or rather galaxy, is dripping with gothic grandeur. Starships that look like cathedrals, crew members who pray before reloading their bolters, and demons who want to debate philosophy before they eat you. Combat is crunchy turn-based mayhem. Build your crew, break the system, or die horribly. Half the fun is realizing you're basically one bad day away from being the villain. Honestly, it's structured chaos, and it's glorious.
Was that you? Or...
Planescape Torment. Most RPGs start with "You are the hero." Planescape Torment starts with "You are the nameless one." You're immortal. You've died 1,000 times. And you still don't know why. Developed by Black Isle Studios, this isometric classic doesn't care about saving kingdoms. It cares about peeling back the skin of your own identity until you're raw. The world? Sigil, the city of doors. A bizarre hub where demons haggle in alleyways. Talking skulls make better companions than most humans. And philosophy isn't just debated. It'll stab you if you get the answer wrong. Combat? Honestly, it's secondary. The real fight is in the dialogue. Walls of text that shouldn't work, but absolutely do. Every choice rewires your journey. Every conversation leaves a scar. What can change the nature of a man? That's the question the game throws at you. 20 plus years later, no RPG has dared to ask it better. Wasteland 3. Wasteland 3 doesn't ease you into the apocalypse with a gentle nudge. It hurls you face first into snow, blood, and bad decisions, then hands you a busted rifle and says, "Figure it out, Ranger." Developed by ICEWIND, this isometric RPG drops you into frozen Colorado, a wasteland of cults, cannibals, and corrupt families that somehow make Thanksgiving dinner look tame. The world is bleak, but it's also absurdly funny in that dark, gallows humor way. 1 minute you're negotiating with a psychotic patriarch, the next you're deciding whether to side with clowns who worship nuclear bombs. Yes, clowns. Yes, nukes. Combat is turn-based tactical brilliance, rewarding smart positioning and clever use of your squad's weird skills. Do you hack the turret, flamethrower the mob, or let your pet cyborg animal go feral? All valid choices. What makes Wasteland 3 stick isn't just the chaos. It's the way your decisions echo across the snow, reshaping who survives and who freezes. Pillars of Eternity 2, DEADFIRE. Some RPGs keep you trudging through dungeons. Pillars of Eternity 2. DEADFIRE says, nah, let's give you a ship and an entire ocean to terrorize. Obsidian took their already stellar isometric RPG formula and drowned it in salt water, sea monsters, and enough pirate politics to make Jack Sparrow look like an amateur. The DEADFIRE archipelago is vibrant, dangerous, and alive. Volcanic islands, bustling ports, haunted ruins, and endless horizons that practically dare you to explore. The main quest sends you chasing a literal god stomping across the ocean, but half the fun is getting lost in side stories, mutinous crew drama, shady trade deals, and quests that spiral into full-blown moral crises. Combat balances tactical depth with explosive magic, but the real hook is the freedom. Want to be a noble captain? Cool. Want to be the kind of captain who sells their crew for coin? Also cool. And horrifying. It's swashbuckling, story-rich chaos, and it absolutely delivers.
Beyond sake.
Shadowrun returns. Cyberpunk's cool, fantasy's cool. Shadowrun Returns said, why not both? Harebrained Schemes revived the cult classic setting with this lean, stylish, isometric RPG where elves sling spells in back alleys and hackers dive into the Matrix, while orcs run security gigs for megacorps. It's messy, neon lit, and absolutely dripping with noir vibes. You play a Shadowrunner, part merc, part detective, part please don't shoot me, I just work here. The story kicks off with a classic hook. Your old partner's dead, and the conspiracy around it is way bigger than you bargained for. It's short, focused, and tight, like a season of a really good crime drama, but with fireballs and data jacks. Combat plays out like tactical chess with bullets and lightning bolts, rewarding smart positioning and brutal combos. And the best part? Shadowrun Returns knows exactly what it is. A grimy street-level ride that doesn't waste your time. Fallout 2. Some games hold your hand. Fallout 2 breaks your fingers, shoves you into a post-nuclear wasteland, and says, good luck, chosen one. Developed by Black Isle Studios, this isometric RPG is equal parts brutal survival sim and satirical fever dream. You start as a tribal nobody tasked with saving your people, but the world doesn't care about your noble quest. It cares about chewing you up. The setting drips with dark humor. Sleazy casinos, corrupt politicians, mutated nightmares, and plenty of moral compromises. The writing is razor sharp and often controversial, tackling politics, greed, and humanity's worst instincts with a smirk. Characters are unforgettable, from shady mob bosses to companions who'll roast you mid-quest. Combat is clunky by modern standards, but every bullet matters, and consequences hit harder than any deathclaw. What makes Fallout 2 timeless isn't polish, it's freedom. The wasteland reacts, bends, and breaks around your choices, making every playthrough feel like your own personal apocalypse.
Well, last word is my ma was still living here, so mostly decent folk, aye. A regular harpy, that one.
ICEWIND Dale. If Baldur's Gate is the sprawling epic with politics and gods, ICEWIND Dale is its frostbitten cousin that just wants to see if you can survive the blizzard. Developed by Black Isle Studios, this isometric RPG takes you north into the spine of the world, a land where the snow never stops falling, the wind cuts through steel, and even the tavern ale tastes like regret. The story is simpler than other Infinity Engine games, but that's the point. This isn't about royal intrigue. It's about holding your party together as you push deeper into icy ruins and haunted caves. The characters aren't handed to you. You build your whole crew, crafting a fellowship that feels entirely yours. Combat is tactical, punishing, and relentless, with every fight carrying that just barely survived adrenaline rush. ICEWIND Dale doesn't coddle you. It throws you into the cold and dares you to earn every victory.
Speak your mind at once.
Yes, right.
Your command? Agreed.
This yet. I can't use this yet. I need mana.
Diablo 2 Resurrected. Some games age like milk. Diablo 2 aged like a cursed artifact. Dusty, dangerous, and somehow more tempting every time you see it. Resurrected from Blizzard is the polished revival that slaps a shiny coat of HD on top of one of the most influential ARPGs ever made. Underneath, though, it's still the same brutal, methodical, demon-slaying grind that ruined an entire generation's sleep schedules. The world is dark, gothic, and unrelenting. Towns barely hanging on, deserts crawling with horrors, hell itself waiting just a few maps away. The combat, simple on the surface, but brutally addictive once you're tweaking builds, juggling loot, and deciding whether you should risk pushing into the next dungeon with only 2 health potions left. Bosses hit like trucks. The atmosphere weighs on you, and every drop of loot feels like a dopamine slot machine win. Resurrected doesn't modernize Diablo 2, it immortalizes it, and honestly that's all it needed to do. Alright, quick breather before we dive deeper. If you're vibing with this list, maybe hit that subscribe button. We're building a whole archive of RPG chaos here, and it really helps keep the party going. Plus, you don't want to miss the next world-destroying cult or morally questionable questline, right? Torment Tides of Numenera. Some RPGs hand you swords and dragons. Torment Tides of Numenera hands you existential dread and asks, so, what does one life really mean? EXILE's spiritual successor to Planescape, Torment trades dungeons for a surreal science fantasy world where forgotten gods, ancient tech, and living cities blur into one. It's weird, unsettling, and absolutely hypnotic. You play as the last cast-off, the discarded shell of a god who body hops like it's a bad habit. Your existence alone is a problem, and the world wants to remind you of that constantly. Conversations aren't filler here, they're the main event. Dialogue trees branch into entire philosophies, forcing you to wrestle with morality, identity, and consequence. Combat exists, sure, but the real fight is with ideas. Choices ripple outward, shaping not just the story, but the tides. Reflections of who you are becoming. It's dense, it's strange, and it proves RPGs can still be literature in disguise.
I must withdraw and restore myself. In an instant.
SOLASTA Crown of the Magister. If you've ever wanted to bottle the chaos of a late-night D&D session, SOLASTA Crown of the Magister pretty much nails it. Developed by Tactical Adventures, it runs on the actual Dungeons & Dragons 5e rules, not a knockoff, the real deal, and it shows in every saving throw, spell slot, and nat 1 that ruins your night. The world feels like a proper tabletop campaign, mysterious ruins, political factions barely holding together, and dungeons stuffed with traps that exist solely to punish overconfidence. Exploration matters here. Light your torches, scout for hidden levers, and pray that bridge isn't about to collapse under your party's weight. Combat is pure tactical candy. Positioning, verticality, spell combos, all straight from the D&D playbook. Fights are tense but incredibly satisfying when your gambles pay off. SOLASTA isn't about reinventing the genre. It's about faithfully capturing the tabletop vibe, and in that, it absolutely crits.
You'll die anyway.
Maybe I should be writing all of this down. I am at a loss here. I don't quite know what to do.
ARCANUM of STEAMWORKS and MAGICK OBSCURA. Some RPGs pick a lane, fantasy or steampunk. ARCANUM of STEAMWORKS and MAGICK, OBSCURA said. Nah, let's crash an airship and dump you in a world where wizards and engineers hate each other's guts. Troika Games' Isometric RPG is messy, unpolished, and utterly unforgettable. The setting is this bizarre crossroads. Dusty towns powered by clanking steam engines, wizards muttering about the death of magic, and a society fraying at the seams as old power meets new tech. You're tossed right into the middle, not as a chosen hero, but as a confused survivor caught in the tension. The gameplay? A mix of crunchy character builds, wonky combat, and the freedom to lean hard into gadgets, sorcery, or some janky combo of both. It's not balanced, but that's the charm. What sticks with you isn't perfection. It's the chaos of a world that feels alive, stubborn, and indifferent to you. ARCANUM doesn't guide you, it lets you stumble, and that's why it's brilliant. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. If Pathfinder Kingmaker was a warm-up, Wrath of the Righteous is the full-blown crusade. An isometric RPG so packed with systems, it makes spreadsheets look casual. Developed by Owlcat Games, it drops you into a world torn apart by a demonic invasion and then says, "Congratulations, you're in charge of the Holy War, don't screw it up." The world is bleak but grand. Ruined cities, hell-ripped landscapes, and desperate factions clawing for survival. The character creation? Absolutely absurd in the best way. Dozens of classes, archetypes, feats, and abilities let you sculpt anything from a demon-slaying paladin to a pyromaniac bard with anger issues. Combat blends tactical crunch with cinematic flair, and the mythic path system flips everything on its head. Angel, demon, lich, trickster, you decide what kind of nightmare you'll unleash. It's dense, it's overwhelming, and it's glorious. Wrath of the Righteous isn't just a game, it's a lifestyle, one that devours hundreds of hours before you even notice.
Make every strike count. Endure this!
Too late for apologies!
We can do it!
Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of AMN. If the first Baldur's Gate was proof the genre worked, Shadows of Am was the mic drop. BioWare built an isometric RPG so sprawling, so rich, that 20 plus years later, people still call it the gold standard. This isn't just adventuring, it's an epic D&D novel you play. The world of Aeon brims with life. Bustling cities, eerie forests, twisted dungeons, and enough side quests to derail your main mission for weeks. The villain? John Irenicus. A mage so terrifyingly charismatic, he makes most modern RPG antagonists look like mall cops. Combat expands on the first game's tactical real-time system, demanding clever use of spells, positioning, and that classic Infinity Engine pause and plan micromanagement. And the writing? Still untouchable. Party banter, companion quests, moral choices, it's all razor sharp. Baldur's Gate 2 isn't nostalgia. It's the foundation that half this list was built on. And honestly, it still plays like a masterclass in storytelling and design.
The hand of justice!
Duty calls, I see.
What is it?
It can't do
And that's the tour. 20 isometric RPGs that prove you don't need shiny graphics to punch straight into your soul. If you made it this far, you're basically family, so drop a like, toss a comment, or just tell me which one of these games ruined your sleep schedule. And hey, if you're still in binge mode, I've got more chaos waiting in the next video.